Hello, hello. Hi, friends.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast,
Our very first
our
podcast.
very first episode ever. I'm your host, Danie,
And I'm Katie.
and today we're going to talk about all things strange.
And always, we're going to talk about all things strange.
Yes, every time, not just today.
Hopefully every 2 weeks.
Yes, we're going to try to do this every 2 weeks, but we'll see how it goes. So if you like us, if you could subscribe and leave us a review, that would be wonderful.
A nice review.
Yes, a nice review because we're very sensitive and we can't handle negative feedback.
Very sensitive, strange girls.
Yes, so please be nice to us, please. Thank you. So I think how we're going to format this is today, at least today, we're going to each tell each other a different story.
Yes.
So
Yes, today's going to be a multi episode.
a multi-story day.
Yes.
So you guys are in for a treat.
Yep. Today we're going to talk about the Oakville Blobs, or the Oakville Incident, or as National Geographic refers to it as Goo Rain.
Ooh, goo rain.
Goo rain. That's what I'm talking about. So, this incident occurred on August 7th, 1994, in Oakville, Washington. You know anything about Washington?
I know it rains a lot.
Yes, it
I
does.
know it's really depressing.
It does rain a lot. I mean,
It's a lot of flannel.
I saw a lot on like at least 150 rain days a year. Some sources were saying more.
How many of those days are blobs?
6 incidences over a 3-week span, actually. So,
What year was this again?
1994.
Okay.
Yeah. So, a little bit of background on Oakville. It's a very, very, very small town, less than 700 people. I was seeing around like 675 to 700 ranges, a lot of different stuff on the internet about the population at that time in 1994. But like I said, around 150 rain days a year or more, with an average rainfall of almost 40 inches a month through October to April. That's a lot of damn rain.
That's a lot of rain.
I hate rain. I'm not a big fan. I mean, it's very therapeutic and beautiful when we need it, but I just don't like being wet and having to wear like, rain boots and
Galoshes.
Galoshes, and not being able to walk through parking lots without, huge puddles. But so yeah, with their driest months being between July and August. So this story takes place, like I said, August 7th of 1994. Some big dark rain clouds came over Oakville and rained down a clear, gelatinous, gooey substance that caused illness in all the people and animals that came in contact with it. Really, it was like several people, but dozens of animals actually died. So several people
so
ill.
sad.
Yeah, lots of animals died. Lots of smaller animals.
Yeah,
The larger animals were like just really sick, like cows and horses and shit.
Yeah, I think I remember this from Unsolved Mysteries. Wasn't it like
Yes.
squirrels and cats and stuff?
Yes.
Something like that.
There was cats, squirrels.
Squirrel.
Was there birds? I think it was all small ones, yeah. So, like I said, it rained 6 times, this gooey substance, over the course of 3 weeks. People in the town described the illness as like flu symptoms, and it lasted from 7 weeks to 12 weeks. That's a crazy long time to have the flu.
Yeah.
That's some crazy stuff right there.
One lady was super sick, wasn't she? Wasn't there someone in the hospital?
Yeah, she's like the main character in the
main
story.
lady?
Do you know much about this? I know you said you watched Unsolved Mysteries.
I do remember this because I've always kind of been fascinated by it.
Yes.
I haven't looked into it since I knew we were doing this, but yeah,
Unsolved.
I remember a little bit about it. Yeah.
Did you know National Geographic also did an episode on it?
Oh no.
Pretty interesting.
That's
Yep. Okay. So the inflicted people suffered from severe dizziness and nausea and even trouble breathing. One of the first witnesses was a police officer named David Lacey. He was on patrol at 3 a.m. and his windshield started to collect this jelly substance that could not be cleared with his wipers. He had to pull over. And
So gross.
he claims he put on a latex glove for protection, but I mean, come on. Like,
No,
are
he
you
did
really
not.
pulling out a latex glove to clean off that windshield at 3 a.m.? I don't know.
Did he
But
take crime scene samples
he says
too?
he did. Yeah, I mean, he says he did put on that glove. So he said that he compared it to Jell-O, and he stated that we turned on our windshield wipers, and it just started smearing to the point where we could almost not see, end quote. Officer Lacey described being, quote, violently sick, end quote, and having trouble breathing. Witness Dottie Hearn went outside in the early hours of the morning on August 7th, 1994, to find what she thought looked like hail laying all over the top of like what's described as like a wooden box or a wooden shed in her yard, I don't know, and all around the yard. And her daughter, Sunny Barclift, actually came home to find her mom like laying out unresponsive on the floor after she touched the goo rain. So that's the lady that you're thinking about, because she ended up, her daughter quotes, she was cold, drenched with perspiration. My mom had been vomiting. She had extreme vertigo. She complained that she had difficulty with her vision. Her vision was blurry, end quote. So, I mean,
did she have glasses on? Maybe that's why. Maybe the goo was like all over her glasses and she couldn't see.
It's very possible. I have that problem sometimes. I really do. I'll blink a bunch of times thinking like my eyes are blurry. I'm like, oh shoot, I probably should just clean my glasses.
Get that goo off your glasses.
So her daughter called the ambulance. You know, she went to the hospital. I guess they diagnosed her with Meniere's disease, which is really interesting. It's like an inner ear type of thing that causes vertigo and dizziness. And she did have those symptoms, but, you know, she also had other symptoms of infection, and she actually spent 4 days in the hospital after that interaction with it. Yeah. Interestingly, too, she recovered fully from Meniere's disease after the blob stuff stopped. And I guess Meniere's isn't really a disease that just ends like that. So that's kind of uncommon. Another witness, Beverly Roberts, stated that she came outside to find her tree branches just dripping of clear jelly. She had never seen anything like it. Like, so
it was a lot.
Bizarre.
It was a lot that came down at once.
And people have described that these little blobs were just the size of a grain of rice or even smaller. So, like, I mean, it definitely must have accumulated a lot to be like oozing and dripping that way, I would think. So another witness, Peggy Coleridge, she actually picked up the goo and like squished it in her hands. And she stated that it felt like jelly and it would not melt in her hands. So shortly after all of these residents came into contact with the blobs, people were just falling sick everywhere and complaining of, all of them were just complaining of the same things, like the severe dizziness, vertigo, and severe nausea. Sunny Barclift, which is Dottie Hearn's daughter, the lady that was found unresponsive on the floor, she's the one that suspected that there was a link between the raining blobs and her mom's illness. And so she, a very smart woman, she collected a bunch of samples and put them in her freezer. Now,
yes,
that's
I
smart.
remember that. Yeah.
Yes.
And didn't their family cat die or something like that?
Yes. It was actually, they had a kitten that died
that's
afterwards.
Horrible.
Yes,
that's so
like
horrible.
severe like stomach issues.
Oh, poor cat.
So she brought one of those to the hospital, requested that the sample be tested, and the lab tech had found white blood cells. Doon, doon, doon.
Like human white blood cells?
Apparently, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, animal, human, yes. I mean, we're all animals, right? So,
yeah.
And then I guess the sample was next sent off to the hazardous material unit at the Department of Ecology of Washington State, where a microbiologist over there, Mike McDowell, he recalled finding 2 species of the bacteria in the sample. Enterobacter cloacae and Pseudomonas, which apparently can be linked to like giving issues into like the digestive tract and the urinary tract. So he was really alarmed by those findings, obviously, and so he reported it to management. And the next day when he came to work, the samples were just gone, which is like where the whole twist comes in.
I remember that.
Because then it's like, why were they gone? And he had been working for 30 years and never, ever misplaced a sample. He clearly didn't misplace that sample. And when he asked about it, when he went back to management and asked about it, they told him to stop asking about it. So
typical.
Yeah, that's like ding, 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 conspiracy, like rings in my head. But yeah, he that microbiologist states in the National Geographic episode that you can find on YouTube, I believe, he mentions that he believes that it was a matrix, which actually can occur naturally, like around like eggs of things and stuff. Really, that substance he's thinking is like a vehicle, which a matrix being a vehicle capable of transporting a virus or bacteria. That's what he thought, that microbiologist. It's pretty interesting.
So I know matrix means that like it's just a mixture.
Yeah, like it's it's the bonding of it or something is capable of holding a virus and bacteria.
Yeah.
You know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
So there was no peanut butter, right? So it definitely wasn't like grape jelly.
Nope. Well, it was so clear, and like, so there's theories obviously on what it is.
So was it completely see-through? Or?
Well, it was actually completely see-through, yeah. But actually, to continue on more with the, scientific studies of it, a year after Sonny's mother, Dottie, fell ill, she decided to send another sample out of her freezer to AmTest Laboratory for more answers. And that microbiologist, Tim Davis, believes he saw a eukaryotic cell, which is a complex nucleus-containing cell that's present in most living creatures.
Oh, yeah.
So he,
I know that.
in his opinion, was meaning that it had been alive, in his opinion, or was alive at one time, yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Does bacteria have those cells?
I'm not sure. But I know you can't have a eukaryotic cell if it's not alive.
Right. But if it's bacteria is alive, right?
Yes.
Let's look it up.
And I know it grew. Like, I guess the first microbiologist that I mentioned, he like let it grow for a few days, and that's when the Enterobacter cloacae and the pseudomonas grew in it.
Animals, plants, and fungi.
Right. But so I guess the eukaryotic cell in combination to finding the white blood cells, is probably why they made that determination.
Now, I know you said it happened how many times? 6 times?
So, yeah, 6 different incidences, which is like any kind of theory that anybody has on it. It's like, what are the odds it's going to happen 6 times? You know what I mean?
And did it only rain on this town? Or
20 square feet above this town only. Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Oakville is a very small town, like I said, and this literally happened to 20 square I'm sorry, not square feet. Oh my gosh. 20 square miles. Yeah. Yes, correction. Over this town. And that is so bizarre. Like, how did it not go anywhere else in Washington? That's what I'm really like perplexed by,
And is there an airport nearby? I remember one of the theories being waste from an airplane or something, but that was proven to be not.
Yeah, because apparently like waste from airplanes, which I didn't even know that like you could eject waste out of airplanes flying. I didn't even know that was like a thing, but apparently waste is dyed blue for that reason.
Yes. Right.
And I think it's even referred to as blue ice or something like, but so yeah, no, this was completely clear, which is just that to me rules that out right away.
Yeah.
That one I would say is the least to me. I mean, even the jellyfish, have you heard that theory?
No.
Now, this to me is just, it's totally bizarre. 50 miles from shore, or I should go back. The military was doing naval bombing runs around this time at sea, and the shore is about 50 miles from Oakville. Mm-hmm. So, and there was actually a lot of locals commenting that they did see a lot of unmarked black aircrafts flying lower and slower around that time as well. And with the shore being 50 miles away, the theory is that the military was doing the bombing into the ocean, and these jellies blasted up into the atmosphere and came and fell down 20 square miles on Oakville 6 times in 3 weeks.
Okay,
I mean,
but
why wouldn't anything else fall? Why wouldn't there be seaweed or fish particles or anything else? If you're blowing up a school of jellyfish, chances are you're going to find some chances of, yeah. You're going to find some evidence of something else besides jellyfish.
A jellyfish wouldn't make you sick. You don't touch a jellyfish and then get...
unless it was poisonous, right?
I don't know. Mm-hmm. I think it would have to sting you. I don't think the jellyfish itself just touching
right,
it would
like
make
the jelly blob of it.
Would make you have the flu.
Right. I don't think this is a very good theory, in my opinion.
No.
Also, there's another theory, star jelly. Have you ever heard of star jelly?
No, isn't that what they put in boba?
It is. No, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. This is like a legend in scientific poetry since at least the 17th century. And I've never heard of this before, but apparently goo falls from the sky during or like after meteor showers. Or it appears on the ground. It's one of the two. But There has been since
Okay.
17th century like poems on like goo being found. I meant to write one up here.
Oh,
But
you could make one. I'd love to hear your goo
I
poem.
love goo, always, forever.
I love that song.
All right. I don't know why I just started singing a song. I found a couple of things interesting though, right? Obviously, so those are some theories like the jellyfish, the star jelly, and then the whole like plane stuff, right? But there's also this being like a government experiment
Yeah.
on a small town, which I think I would go
Yeah, because
be
it's
leaning toward.
pinpointed.
Exactly.
If it was something to do with a meteor shower, it would be more
All over.
spread out.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And again, like white
6
blood cells
Right.
from that would be cool, I guess, but I don't think that's what it is.
Right, right.
Too pinpointed.
I agree with you. So I found that very interesting. I mean, I would lean towards that theory that this was, some testing to see how this would affect either being on the ground to people or just affecting people for war or whatever their reasons would be. Then I also found something really interesting. There was a patent for a method of modifying weather, and I have the patent number here. It's 6,315,213. I don't know if that's how you describe a patent number, but that's
You can look up patent numbers.
yeah,
right,
that's
in
the
Google
patent
with
number.
The number. Yeah.
Yeah, so again, 6,315,213. So that's the patent number for this. And the summary of this invention, right, which I find this to be like mind-blowing. The instant application discloses a method of modifying weather by seeding storm clouds with a polymer. The storm clouds are seeded by dispersing a super absorbent polymer into the cloud in sufficient quantities to cause a large absorption of water. The reaction of the water and the polymer creates a gel-like substance that precipitates to the surface, thus causing an internal constriction with the cloud to lessen storm velocities. Now, I'm not saying it's linked. I'm just saying that's crazy that there is proof that we have something that can modify our weather.
I read that they just did that in China the other day. I don't know if that's true, but they created storm clouds and made it rain in China.
Yeah.
Like
and
within the past couple
apparently,
weeks.
Something back in the 1950s, my husband was saying about what was it? It was something Project Cumulus, where they did actually mess with it to see how much they could torrentially rain down on the enemies or whatever back then. Again, yeah, very interesting.
But again,
a
white
government
blood
thing.
cells.
Right.
Why?
Exactly. White blood cells is just gonna throw you off no matter what.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. And I mean, back to the whole weather modifying. I mean, I've seen some really weird snow in the past couple of years. Some very bizarre snow. I mean, it looked like little styrofoam balls one time that it snowed. And I was just like, this is not normal snow. I don't care what you say. Snowflakes don't look like this,
They're too uniform.
Yeah, they're supposed to be beautiful and unique. And these were just they were too uniform. They were too identical, little styrofoam balls. So maybe some of the snows we've had weren't really snows. Just maybe some rain in Oakville wasn't really rain.
Yeah. Now, is Oakville, was it one of the smaller towns? Because if they were testing it, you said it was
Totally.
only 600
There was
people.
other small towns in the area. I did research, but I just think it was just the one that was selected, But yes, it was really small.
Yeah, and I don't think it has anything to do with the jellyfish because...
Right.
How many miles away was it? 50? So
from the
between
shore.
the shore and Oakville, there were no other blobs. So what did it do? Fly?
Exactly. It went up into the atmosphere and hovered in the atmosphere,
Yeah, makes
little
sense.
little jelly blobs. And that was actually the theory that most people lean towards, believe it or not. The locals, they hyped up the jellyfish thing, and they even had bars creating jellyfish named drinks and stuff after it. Yeah, the locals really liked that theory. It's interesting. Yeah.
I guess it's better than believing that somebody poisoned you.
I know. Was trying to, yeah.
Because then you couldn't have a
killed your
drink
cat.
named after it.
For real. All right, well, that's my
Death by jelly.
Oakville Blobs. Yes, Death by Jelly. Oh, man.
I like that one. That's one
Yeah.
of my favorite ones. I remember that from Unsolved Mysteries because...
It's definitely a very mysterious thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
so
a modern
weird.
mystery. You gotta love it.
Yeah, almost modern. We're getting old now.
I know. It was a modern mystery back then. It is still. It still is. We're young. All right. So
At
what do you
heart,
got
at
for me?
least.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be telling you today about the Nazca Lines.
Ooh.
I don't know if it's Nazca or Nazca, so please don't come for me. Um, okay, so the Nazca Lines are located in the Nazca Desert in Peru, which is about 200 miles south of the Peruvian capital of Lima.
Okay.
So these lines are geoglyphs. A geoglyph is a type of land art that can be seen from really far away, or in this case, mostly from the sky.
Huh.
You can see them from some nearby mountains, but they actually do tours and stuff that you
Really?
can get in an airplane and fly over it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Some of these designs are figurative, which means they represent something like a monkey, a hummingbird, or a human. But other designs are just straight lines across the desert. And some of them go for like 80 miles.
That's what I was just going to say. Like, how big are these lines?
They look like runways almost.
Because obviously if you have to see them, now is it that you have to see them from above to see what the shape is? Like, you could probably see, something, but you have to be from above to actually be able to see the full picture just because of how big they are.
Yes, but there's so many of them. So when you look from above, it's a whole bunch of lines and then like a whole bunch of the figurative designs. So there's like a bunch of animals, there's a bunch of humanoid things, flowers, and then mixed into that, there's all these geometric designs and big long lines that just go for miles, and they don't know what the reason is.
I've never heard of this before. This is a first for me. When was this discovered?
Okay, so some of these lines were made between 400 to 200 BCE. Others were made from 200 BCE to 500 CE. So that's 2,000 years ago. There are over 800 straight lines, 300 geometric designs, and 70 plant or animal designs.
Wow.
The plant and animal designs are called biomorphs or zoomorphic designs, which I just thought was a cool word.
Zoomorphic.
Zoomorphic.
I'd be interested to know, like, how these lines are placed. Are they placed as in, like, perfect angles? Like, are they perfect 90-degree angles and such, like the pyramids almost? Like, kind of mind-blowing thing like that?
I don't think so, because the way that they're created, they're very easily messed up because they're just made out of the dirt, which I'll explain. But
Okay.
yeah, I didn't read anything about like precision or anything like that.
Yeah.
So how they were made, the top layer of dirt on the desert is covered by iron oxide. So by removing the top layer of rocks, the Nazca people were able to create an image.
Wow. Is that just like the dirt, it becomes darker underneath,
Lighter.
basically? Oh,
it's
lighter.
red on top, and when you scrape it off, it's like
see.
yellow underneath. So it's almost a negative image almost.
That's cool.
The biggest design is 1,200 yards across, which is the size of 10 football fields.
Holy.
The designs are spread across 200 square miles, but if you laid out all the designs end to end, they'd be over 800 miles long.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of space.
Yeah. That's a lot of work.
That is a
if you
lot
think
of
about
work.
it. And the interesting thing about it is that the designs are so big that to design it, you'd have to see it from above. That's how big they are.
So basically aliens designed these.
Yes, basically aliens.
Wow.
Yes.
That's so cool.
The lines are typically 12 to 15 inches deep, but I saw varying things about that, how deep they actually are.
Yep.
The width varies, with most being 13 inches wide and others being up to 6 feet wide. But I could only find that on Wikipedia, so I don't know if that's valid. But
Right.
Shapes. One continuous line makes the entire image. So they draw each image with one
continuing line.
Yes.
That is so cool. So it's like a giant Etch-a-Sketch.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Some of the shapes are, there's a whale, a flower, a monkey, a hummingbird, an astronaut, and a dog. I just got chills. The lines, so there's a bunch of them that are just straight lines. One of them is over 80 miles long. In June 2019, 3 Japanese researchers were able to classify or reclassify some of the bird depictions as specific birds that are native to Peru.
Wow.
Based on specific traits that were depicted in the geoglyphs. Yeah. The hummingbird is actually a hermit, which is a species of hummingbird native to a more northern region of Peru, not necessarily the desert, but still close by-ish. Two of the other birds were identified as pelicans.
That's a very distinguishable bird.
Yes,
Yes, that's really cool.
But they were able to look at different features on the drawings. So the tail, the size of the beak, its feet, things like that. And they were able to actually figure out that some of them are native to Peru.
Wow.
But there were 13 bird depictions that were studied that were not able to be identified as native to Peru.
Native to, like, us at all, though? Like,
So, yes, it
Okay.
says this led scientists to think that these birds were once native to Peru but are now extinct, or they just weren't drawn accurately, or they may have been exotic birds from another part of the world.
Oh.
But archaeologists believe they obviously had some significance to the Nazca people. And then it gets really weirder.
Yay.
In November 2019, scientists announced that since 2004, 143 more designs were discovered.
Wow.
A fish, a humanoid, a snake eating a person, and a dinosaur, which they're calling a rat. We'll have to look at it together, but it does not look like a rat. It's a straight dinosaur.
All right. So people are probably going to come at me for this, but who's the rat in Ninja Turtles? Splinter? All right. If it's looks like Splinter, then maybe I
No.
could see.
It doesn't look anything like a rat.
Okay.
It looks like a brontosaurus. Like a cartoony brontosaurus.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, which is weird because
Wow.
dinosaurs and humans didn't live
Right,
together, right?
Right.
Supposedly.
And this is a new one.
This is
in the
it's
new-
not
newer-
a new one, but it's newly
Discovered.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
Yes. Because the elements, a lot of them are getting covered up. There's squatters in the area too. There's roads that get put in. So there's a ton that were
Just not found.
Not found
Right.
until recently.
Okay, I see. Wow.
In 2019, the first design was discovered by solely using AI. So IBM taught AI to use previously discovered glyphs along with satellite data from the PAIRS geoscope to locate undiscovered glyphs. So I had to look up what the PAIRS geoscope was, and this is from the IBM website. The IBM PAIRS geoscope is a massive data store of aligned, pre-processed geospatial satellite images, weather predictions, socioeconomic data, news information, and more. Leveraging efficient indexing methods to spatially and temporally link data layers, PAIR is well suited to perform complex analysis and rapid searches that help reveal key interconnections between data sets.
Okay. That's this is like the AI thing. Like
This is AI.
Because
So they
I get
used-
so confused about this shit.
Basically, it's just they call it a geoscope, but it's satellite images, and they use it for all sorts of stuff. I was reading they
Yeah.
use it for DOT, the Department of Transportation, uses it to track CO2 emissions on trips. So you can see geothermal stuff on it. They also used it for cluster maps for COVID. Remember when they would show the hot spots for COVID? That was IBM that did that.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it's got a lot of information. It's freaky how much it has.
Wow.
So these scientists used this geoscope thing and taught it what to look for using existing geoglyphs already found.
Wow.
So it found one by itself. So far it's found one. They think they're going to find a ton more.
Wow.
So it
cool.
found this crazy looking spaceman
I was
thing.
just going to say, which is the one that it found? It found a spaceman looking one?
They're calling it a humanoid, but it looks like a spaceman.
Okay.
So I can show you it. I should have had it ready, but
I can just Google it if you want right now.
yeah, look up to 2019 Nazca NAZCA,
Okay.
and then say like AI, and tell me what you think that is.
2019 Nazca
Just say AI.
AI.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. So I'm seeing some images that are different. Like, do you see the one that looks like fries?
Yeah, that's funny you said that because one of them, so he's holding a stick, right? Do you see the one holding the stick?
Oh yeah, I do. I was actually referring to that one.
Yeah, I saw that one too. There is one that looks like Frylock.
Yeah, Frylock.
But the one that it found is the one with the headdress looking thing.
Wow, okay, I see it.
And the stick.
Huh. So is it this one right here, that one that they found?
Yep, they found, yeah, that's the one that AI found.
Okay. Wow. That is very bizarre. So weird. Like seeing these photos, you know, for people who are just listening, like you definitely would want to give this a Google search for images.
All right, so I want to get your reaction on this one.
Okay.
I'm going to turn it towards you very slowly. What do you think of that?
Wow, that's absolutely like a snake eating a human.
So
what are they
why?
calling that?
It's just a snake. That's what you're just calling it, a snake.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely
And
like,
then-
it's more like a what? Like a python? Like some kind of...
Yeah, but so what's the message here and why?
Right. Why? Why is there so many random pictures? Like, there's so
Look at
many
this one.
animals. That spider is crazy.
What do you think this one is? They don't know. They think that's depicted as a headdress, but what's the thing that it's holding? They don't know.
The earth?
Is that the Earth?
Like, on a... It almost looks like a... Like it should be a planet or an earth. Like
Yeah,
the
it
earth.
looks like an Earth,
Yeah,
right?
like an alien holding
So,
the earth.
For our listeners,
That's pretty
you
cool.
should Google these, but there's all different types of humanoid ones that just are strange.
Yeah.
They're just weird.
They're very weird. Like, I'm looking here
Look at this one. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, there's like some that are like in circles too, huh? Like spirals.
Yeah, there's a spiral, there's flowers,
wicked
there's
neat.
so many.
Yeah.
And these are not small.
Right. They're so enormous that
they're
somebody
enormous.
isn't going around with a shovel and digging these up to
Right,
make patterns.
right.
There's no way. Although, I mean, we already know crop circles, right? Like, it could be something similar to that, right?
Yeah.
Like think about it. If now, say, because Nazca here, it's all dirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe it's a crop circle, but without the grass.
Right.
Because that's what makes, well, the crops, obviously, without the crops, you know? And
Right.
that maybe that is why it's like almost taking off a top layer because of like radiation or something like that.
I don't know. I haven't
That's
seen
so
anything
cool.
about radiation.
Okay. Yeah. It's just
but it's
so
interesting.
bizarre to think of it like that. Like it also could almost be like a crop circle because I mean some of these spiral ones definitely remind me of that.
Yeah.
And even the spider one.
The spider one, yeah, that's one of the most famous ones. What do you think of this one? This is the one that they're calling
I
the
love
rat.
that. That's definitely not a rat. That's definitely a dino.
A dinosaur, right?
It's so cute. That
Where
dino
is
should be in a kid's book. It's so
Now,
cute.
I don't know what these dotted lines are.
Oh my gosh, that looks like the dinosaur has like either eaten a human,
Yeah.
like because it's missing parts of its body, unless like you
Yes,
said, people
the
have
human in this picture just has legs.
yes, and you can almost see like other body parts have flown off, like
Yeah.
or like
Yeah, what is
he's
that?
eating it and he's just ripping them up and tearing them up.
That's his head
That's
on top
really
floating
bizarre.
in the sky.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
there's so many. There's this one. This is a famous one. It's a monkey.
So interesting.
There's a famous monkey. There's
Okay.
the spider. There's
I can
a
definitely
hummingbird.
see that monkey being famous. That is a cute monkey.
And then I'll show you the one of the most famous ones, the astronaut.
Yeah, where is the astronaut? I'm not seeing an astronaut yet.
It's very clearly an astronaut.
Okay. I mean, I could see that being almost even considered like an alien.
What is that?
Oh, I know. Why does that? That could be R-rated.
Yes.
Yeah, but see, like, what makes you feel like that's an astronaut? It doesn't have like a globe over its head or
It
something.
kind of does.
Oh, okay.
You can see it a little bit. It looks more like an aura or something around its head.
I see what you mean, like almost a natural crack in
Yeah.
but I mean, I would even go as far to say that like it could be an alien.
They call that one the spaceman.
Okay, the spaceman.
Or the astronaut,
All right.
yeah.
Now, can I ask, is there a lot of UFO sightings in this area?
I don't know.
Okay, let's look that up. That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a really good
I would love to
question.
know if there's been a lot of local
You know what?
residents.
I did see an episode for the History Channel.
Yeah?
It was on YouTube. That aliens guy. you know that guy, I can't, Giorgio, somebody or other, the guy with the hair that's always in Ancient Aliens.
Oh, okay. Yes.
He has a show.
Oh, okay.
And he was hosting this show about this, investigating it. And they did investigate locals that said that there's lights in the sky even still.
Okay, so you're like, I just quickly Googled it, and I know this is your thing.
No,
but
that's okay, yeah.
I'm just seeing like lots of like alien bodies, like I don't know,
oh, snap,
like
really?
Supposedly alien mummies, and it's coming up as Nazca. So this sounds like this could be like a whole nother section because this is creepy.
Well,
are you seeing this? The tomb aliens, mummified bodies. I don't know if this is fake.
Is it Nazca?
It's saying Nazca. I mean, it's coming up. Yeah, Peru. 3-fingered mummified humanoid found in Peru.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is like a whole nother rabbit hole right now.
Yeah, let's go
Very
down it.
interesting. Mummified aliens. Yeah, so apparently it looks like there's been some scientific remains found here of alien mummies in Nazca as well. I mean, I'm seeing a lot on it. And they definitely have 3 long fingers. Look like humans, except they're just got a bigger head and like really long fingers. And only 3 of them. So interesting.
In 2020, there was another one found. There was a cat geoglyph discovered on the side of a hill.
Huh.
It needed massive cleanup because it was faded due to natural erosion. But it's cute. Just a cute little cat hanging out on the side.
Cats are my fave.
Side of this hill. So theories, why were these made?
Yeah.
A lot of people think that the big, long, wide lines are landing sites, like landing strips, but UFOs don't need landing strips, so
No.
I don't believe that. But they think it could have been a landing site for extraterrestrials because, again, you can only see these from space. How did these people draw such large pictures without a vantage point?
Right, but why even make it a landing site? Why not just, like, why do they think that aliens need to land on these images?
Right. So what's the message here?
Right. Like, they're definitely leaving a message.
Right.
And when these were actually created, I know that we're still discovering new ones, but when they were actually created, I know you're saying 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
So we got to remember.
And it was over the course of like 500 years too, which is that's a really long time.
Really long time.
Yeah. Some other theories is that they were trail markers, which I could see the lines as being trail markers, but how is a monkey that you can only see from space a trail marker? You're walking along, it's just you.
Right.
You can't see it from where you're at.
And it's like not, and who's making these trail markers? Like humans aren't, so.
Well, they think it's human made.
But that's just how.
But how? Because you have to see it from above.
Yeah.
And like I said, there are mountains nearby. And one of the things that the History Channel episode was talking about is that some of the mountains nearby look like the tops of the mountains were shaved off. It's so flat on top.
Interesting. They should be like naturally pointy, right?
Yeah, it was very I would think, but I don't know.
I would think too.
They think that some of the zoomorphic designs were symbols of fertility, but again, for what? I mean, I don't really know a whole lot about the Nazca people. If it was something that they did they said it could have been different sacrificial sites or different sites for.
Maybe aliens were abducting Nazca people and what's the word I'm looking for here? Impregnating, and maybe maybe we have some hybrids from Peru.
Yeah. The monkey one. There's no monkeys at all nearby.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So
they're not indigenous to that area at all.
No.
Interesting. And it definitely wouldn't be 2,000 years ago. I mean, we did have the cavemen and gorillas before us.
And I believe 2,000 years ago it was still a desert, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have had to have been because they wouldn't have been able to make it if it had rain. It wouldn't have lasted this long.
Well, that's another really fascinating point. Like, there's been, I'm sure, I know it's a desert, but like, there's rain sometimes, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't affect.
Hasn't ever affected it.
No. They also think it could be some sort of astrological purpose, some kind of calendar. Some of these, if
The
you try
animals,
really hard, you can force them to kind of look like
astrological
constellations a
signs
little
or
bit.
constellations, yeah.
Yeah, but
or like what's the chart that they use for like the birth years? Like I believe I was like
the Chinese, yeah.
zodiac. What is it called? Like I was like they do have a monkey. They have like the rat.
Yeah,
which that's
true.
clearly a dinosaur.
They definitely don't
Have a tiger on
a
there.
snake eating a person, though.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
It's very strange.
Yeah. I mean, my theory I'm going with, I think definitely aliens like leaving messages for sure in a big open canvas.
You think the aliens made it?
Yeah.
Or do you think the people made it to communicate with the aliens?
I really think it was the aliens because I don't see how, especially back then, just like the pyramids, like there's no way.
Yeah, but the pyramids are so precise.
Yeah.
And even crop circles, which I think crop circles were like debunked, but they were very precise too. None of these are drawings. They're not
precise, but if you're on the ground level, how are you making them meet to be these shapes?
And there are vantage points nearby, but what are you doing? Standing on top of a mountain directing people
yelling
to where
somebody down to say,
right.
Yeah, right. I just don't feel like it's
right. It's very interesting.
Yeah. It's very, very. And now that I see all these pictures of aliens from Peru, I'm so interested. Like mega interested now in this. Like I'm gonna be researching this all week, I'm sure. So,
yeah, it's just so interesting. I can't wait to see if there's more
right
that come out. There's gonna be. It's just a matter of
when. Or maybe
when.
aliens were living there once upon a time, you know? Maybe they have come down and lived there and they were capable of doing these designs.
Well, some of them are. There's geometric designs. There's the swirl.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that one. That one's definitely, I've seen that before as a sign of fertility. So that one I kind of understand. But I don't know how exact these are.
Right.
Like, look at this one. This one's got a drawing over it so you can see it, and we don't know, again, how precise these are.
Wow.
But that's a pretty specific...
I would say that's pretty damn precise.
Yeah.
That's a lot of right angles, a lot to be meeting if you're on the ground and it being miles big.
Right.
Like,
and what's it mean?
You can't convince me a human did that, you know? You just
and
can't.
I wonder if the geometric designs are maybe older than some of the animal ones. I don't know.
Right.
There's actually not. I researched this for a long time, and there wasn't. Yeah, I had specific questions that I couldn't find answers to. So it's pretty interesting. If anybody knows, please let us know.
Yeah, definitely leave some comments. I'm definitely seeing some stuff about ancient aliens here with Nazca's, though. Like, is that considered one of the lines there? Because if
I haven't seen that one, but that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that looks like two aliens or like two humans with like at least like putting their hands up towards.
And that looks like a ship above them. Yeah.
Or some kind of planet. Pretty really fascinating. So if anybody has any more info on either of these topics, please comment below.
Yeah, please share this with your friends because we don't have a lot.
If you have weird friends that like strange things.
Yeah, we only have each other, so
yeah.
It would be nice if you could share this and be nice to us. We're still new at this. We're just a couple girls with Googles, so
be easy.
Yeah.
And we look forward to our next episode with you.
Yes, in a few more weeks. So thank you for the blobs. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you for Nazca.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
everybody.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good couple weeks.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Stay weird.
Okay, guys. That's it for this week. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Stay weird. Be safe.
Bye.
Bye. You want to just say stay wicked weird instead of stay safe?
I'm recording. Okay, ready?
3, 2, 1. Stay wicked weird.
That's not what I was saying.
All right, you can still do it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Stay wicked weird.
Have a good week. Bye.